Yeah, it's the TANG gang. Yeah, it's the TANG gang. TANG gang. It's the TANG gang. TANG gang. Yeah, it's the TANG gang. TANG gang. Yeah, it's the TANG gang. TANG gang. Yeah, it's the TANG gang. Yeah. It's the TANG gang. TANG gang. TANG gang. TANG gang. Yeah, it's the TANG gang. Yeah, I got an idea. Let's take these beliefs and bad ideas and let's stack them up. Stack them up and see if these people can back them up. And if not, this is what you can do, is just pack them up and go on your way. Cause you should have known, everybody at TANG, we don't play now. Yeah, we need that evidence. We need that evidence to make shit relevant. So what you saying? What you saying, man? Can you prove it? What you doing? Let's do it. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. TANG gang. Y'all already know, 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 y'all already know. TANG gang.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the OZone. So I have a special guest with me tonight. Of course, your boy Oz is here with you, as always. But I got my boy Dylan in the house, literally in the house. He's in my living room. What's up, Dylan? I think you unmuted yourself. Or you muted yourself. You were unmuted. No, you muted yourself. You should just down on the bottom, it should say unmute, have the little microphone. Well, why Dylan's working on? Oh, there he is. You see the little microphone to the left-hand side on the bottom? There we go.
All right, this computer is going all over the place.
Sure, I understand.
Siri, no one's even talking to you. This is crazy. Where the fuck? I don't even have the tab open. Is there like an alt tab? Safari.
What are you trying to do?
Trying to pull up the video or the link. Like I'm looking at the wallpaper. It's on Safari, right?
Yeah, no. It's on Chrome.
Chrome. Fuck. I promise I'm a scientist for real.
So I think on that one, did you find it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So anyway, this is my boy Dylan.
Where were we? Before I made myself look like an idiot. Hi. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. Hey, we have technical difficulties all the time here at Tang, so don't worry about it.
But of course it would happen after we did all that preparation. As soon as we go live, I panicked like a beta male and fucked it up.
Stop. That's bullshit. All right, so we have a topic that we're going to
yeah, let's get serious on this.
That we're going to talk about, and yes, it is a little serious.
Yeah, it is.
But before we do that, I'm going to actually make one adjustment here on my end because for some reason my lighting is just dim as shit. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
But before we dig in here, let's shout out to the chat here. We got some folks hanging out with us. So Aunt Kathy is awake. What's up, Aunt Kathy? Atheist Sanctuary, what's up? Cray in the house. Secular Rarity, as always. Big Dan's in the house. Let's see. We got Donna. What's up, Donna?
Sanctuary's Wi-Fi's been screwy tonight. I have AT&T. You know, my service has been out all day. I want this day taken off my bill. It's going to make my phone not work all day. How are you going to charge me?
I'm calling AT&T in the morning.
Verizon, motherfucker.
What's up, Brainbug? Jesse, the Raging Atheist. I had to leave his stream last night before I killed somebody. Jenna, what up? What up? Mel, welcome to the stream. This is the Atheist Network group. Appreciate you stopping in.
Austin, you like wrestling in the 90s, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know about this, son? Were you an anime faggot like me?
What? Why are you grabbing your nipples?
Like I said, are you an anime faggot like me? Dragon Ball. Were you into that? No. Okay.
Right. No. I watched.
So I'm the weird one.
You're definitely weird. I'll give you that. Tom Soyboy says Oz can eat an entire stick of deodorant at once. Good one. Keep them coming. I love getting roasted.
Is this a Christian podcast? I'm a Christian. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a Christian, but I like the idea of it, I guess. Nietzsche said there was only one Christian, and that was Jesus Christ.
But are you a true Christian?
No.
That's the question.
No.
All right. Well, let's dig in here, man. So, you know, we've had this conversation. Well, way back in the Dizzy, Dylan and I had a podcast we'd done for a little bit, and most of it was focused on, you know, mental health and that kind of thing. And Dylan, if you want, I'll let you that way because I'm an open book on our channel, so everybody knows my background, my story, and everything. So I'll let you share as much as you're comfortable sharing. But this topic has come up, you know, with us either on those streams in the past, or you've done, you know, one or two,
or just on live.
Yeah, one or two here, but just whether it's on the phone or you and I hanging out, chopping it up. And Mel F, I saw that. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. But before we get into it, share a little bit of as much as you're comfortable with your background, and I'll let you share how we met and everything. That way, I don't put you in a certain spot. You share what you're comfortable sharing, and then I'll bounce off that.
You know, you're a pretty reasonable guy for a fucking atheist asshole. I'll give you that.
Well, those were the origins.
Me and Austin, we can talk to each other like that because we're really good friends. I love this guy, you know, like a brother. He's a really good person, and we're a lot alike. So much so that when we first met each other, you know, it's one of those people in life that you meet, and you don't get to meet very many people like that. You meet, and it's just an instantaneous connection and chemistry. And a genuine friendship has manifested and spawned from that. So I was in a pretty difficult place when I met you. Was that 16 or 17? It was 17 or 18, right?
That would have been
17, 2018.
Beginning of 18, yeah.
The hardest years of my life. That's when I met this guy. And, you know, I'm a really tough guy. But I've never been so closer to death during my life as when I met you. We met at a Parkview Behavioral Health Mental Institute, which is where you go when you're having those tragic thoughts. And, you know, tonight's the night I don't think I can do this anymore. And I don't think I've ever once voluntarily went. I just admitted I've been more than once, but it's usually in handcuffs. Well, for me, it was. But, you know, I needed it. I was in a very dark place, and I had some demons that I didn't want to face. I didn't know how to face them. Maybe I did. Well, I do now. So I did. I just didn't want to, because I didn't want to admit that they were there. Instead of dealing with it, I just made things way worse, and it just dug me into such a catastrophic depression and trauma you couldn't even imagine. And when I went there, you know, I met this guy, Austin Mills, who's, you know, a tough, buff guy, and I was like, man, he looks like an alpha. And, you know, we're at the lunch table, whatever, chopping it up and going through our classes, and our psychologists trying to, you know, get over these things. And we just kept in touch, you know, because we keep each other in check about where our head is. And deliberately practicing this the last 4 years, going on 4 years now, I can't believe the progress I've made. It's truly a lovely thing to see, and that I'm here and that I'm alive. And not only am I here and I'm alive, like, I'm doing really well. And a part of me was hopeful that that would happen eventually. But, you know, you keep trying to do the right things day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And sometimes you draw a line, or you aren't sure if it's paying off, you know. And, you know, I'm very lucky where I am today. I love my job, a wonderful life, you know, and in depression. So my diagnosis, to your question, is I have hyper-functioning depression and trauma. What that means is, you know, the trauma is a frame. So when someone experiences trauma, it's either something they saw or something they did or something they went through. It's very common in soldiers, but it doesn't have to be soldiers. When someone is traumatized, what happens in the brain, this is the scientist in me explaining, is that they experience something so fucking weird, so fucking awful, that their brain has no reference of how to comprehend what just happened to them. They say the most evil of evil is the sake of suffering for the sake of suffering, harming someone just because. And I feel like I experienced a lot of that. I just felt like that child that was just, you know, God, why me? Or, excuse me, I wasn't a child, I was a grown-ass man, why me? And, you know, if God is real, I know this is an atheist show, so is the devil, and it's so dark. Take you to the darkest corners of your fucking brain, and he'll take you there if you let it. You'll just keep going down that wrong path if you let it. But the name of the game is endurance, you know, and you figure out that you feel like garbage and you feel weak and you feel pathetic and that you're a loser and it's not going to pay off. So what's the point? You get disenchanted, nihilistic, anxious, depressed, all those things. And the hyper-functioning depression, I guess, I didn't think that was a thing, is because no matter how much it sucks, I just think what it is for me was, it's going to pay off. Eventually it will pay off. You just got to, one more day, one more week, one more minute. But sometimes, that minute, that day, that trying to think of how much more I got to work, it can be defeating. But, what kind of led me, I was an atheist when I met you, but what kind of led me more towards God is that even the darkest dark can be defeated with the smallest bit of light. And whether you like it or not, you're a big light in my life during those times that really had an influence on me. People like you, people like my squad leader and Alpha Company in Indianapolis Infantry 2152, who died this year. He was a really great guy who cared a lot about me. And I was in my darkest depths, and he just kept believing in me, and I didn't know why. He saw in me everything that I could be and had, and didn't let me fall down the wrong path, because he had that light in him. And that's when I began to realize that people need so little encouragement to get through these sorts of things. And it goes a very long way. And just practicing that and recognizing that and living each day deliberately and with endurance, that eventually it will pay the fuck off. I'm 29 now. I've been dealing with this since I was every bit of 22, 23 years old is when I really started experiencing the depression and the anxiety and, all those things. And man, it finally paid off, and I'm almost 30, but I did it before I was 30. And I'm doing very well and very happy and very lucky, very grateful. Like when people say hunters hunt for their food, they feel like it's more fulfilling and rewarding. It's the same thing in life with depression. When you get to your goal and you did it with this, I don't want to say disabilities, just with this brain that there can be treatments for, and there can be practices for, and therapy for, and you get there and you push through the tragedies of life, and everyone's tragedy is different. And also this helped me is realizing no matter how bad my life is, there's someone out there who has it way worse than me. I don't know why that helps me, but it does. I guess it helps me not feel sorry for myself. And that's another thing that I have difficulties with, is when is it appropriate to feel sorry for myself? And that's another part of the hyper-functioning depression, is no matter how much it sucks, I just got to keep going. It's a good thing and a bad thing, but don't let it fool you that you're okay. If you're struggling and you're hurting and you have these system of moods that are, the default mood is hopelessness, you're wrong. That's not normal. And that's not okay. And you're not tough. You're not a fucking badass for living through that when there's no reason for you have to. Why? Why won't? And that's something I want to talk about with you is, there's so many people like you and I who don't like ourselves very much and are going through I like this guy's picture with this rainbow wiener. That's awesome. Who don't like themselves very much, and they don't do anything about it. And I'm not really sure why that is, because I give these classes with the Army twice a year over behavioral health, because I've gotten so familiar with the literature and the signs of, the major warning signs of hopelessness and depression and suicide. So I do that twice a year with my unit and other units in the Army National Guard. And every time I'll have 6 or 7 guys come up to me after the class and open up, and God, so many people like you and me are going through this. And it takes so little encouragement and effort to help with them. And I remember the last time I was with my guys during the annual training, one of the soldiers that was going through, a very dark time. He said, Sergeant Gloy, you're my favorite NCO I've ever had, and I can tell that you care about us. And like, yeah, man, that's. And he shared, my knee injury is doing better. I'm getting along better with my mother, and I found a new place and I found a better job. And I'm like, man, that's great, good, and it just does, and just the response that they give, like the smile on their face that lights up, because they know that they don't suck. Well, maybe they suck, but they're not broken. There's nothing about them that can't be fixed. And knowing that they have someone who is a leader, and I guess on the surface it looks like a tough guy who goes through that same shit. Yeah, it's reassuring that it's going to be okay, and that they're not weak, and they're doing the right thing to get ahead. And it's infectious. It spreads. That light just manifests in a room, and it goes from person to person, man, and it chokes me up when I see it, because it's so fucking lovely to see. But that doesn't always work, though, and that's the most devastating part.
Yeah, it's I will well, I'll say this, and then we'll kind of open.
Oh, that was quite the introduction. Hi, I'm Dylan, by the way.
You're good, bro. You're good. It's therapeutic for all of us to talk and get shit off our chest, so don't worry about it. I will say, since basing my mental health and the diagnosis and the treatment for it on, basing it on science and medicine and not God or faith or a deity, I have found so much more consistency and so much more grounding since letting go of that, because I don't hope for this God to bring me a illumination or a good feeling or happiness. I go the route that medicine and science has demonstrated will bring me to as close to that point as I can get. So I would say that, and then the human connection when we're in that place is fucking huge. It's fucking huge. So to circle it back around to bipolar and what that looks like, in a day-to-day, week-to-week, whatnot, or especially in times of high stress, high anxiety, high turmoil. That probably my greatest struggle, if somebody were to ask me, what do you think is the greatest struggle for you as a, someone with bipolar? It is in, and coming out of this season, losing my mom, in times of high stress like that. And when I say high anxiety, I've never felt anxiety like I felt it, in the last 30, 45 days. It's actually not that cripples me. It's the racing thoughts. And I can't grab a single one of them. I can't concentrate on a single one of them. And being a problem solver.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know exactly what you mean. I got a question for you. Why do you do that to yourself? And it always comes when you're trying to go to bed, right? You need sleep. Your sleep, you need to get some sleep. But that's when those thoughts want to come in and tell you how much you suck or all the things that are going wrong in your life. Why do I do that to yourself? And that's not a trick question or me trying to be like, oh, why are you doing, like, genuinely, like, why do you think we do that?
Well, part of it is the disorder. Part of bipolar is the racing thoughts, and then you pair that with high anxiety.
Do you practice not doing that?
Oh, I try to slow it down. I've done everything, my therapist and, all those, whether it's, talking through it or meditation or medication.
You should dedicate a time slot to think about all those problems. And this is what I've learned. And really drill into yourself during that time slot. So dedicate an hour of that, maybe every couple of days or a week or whatever, and dig that out then, and only bring up those thoughts during that time slot. Then let it go until next time. For me, that has been tremendously beneficial and helped me sleep at night. And also, another thing that we're doing is our brain does a really good job, natural selection has done a really good job keeping us alive. So when we're having these thoughts, we have these system of moods that are alarming us of danger and the terrible things that happen to us. Because what is memory for? Memory is to remember the terrible things that happen so we stay alive and that doesn't happen again. So having a constant reminder of that, sure, yeah, that seems sort of beneficial. I mean, it's more for, when a crocodile eats your baby, in Africa 200,000 years ago, that was necessary. I will never make that. That was traumatizing. I'll never do that again. That was so awful. But now in the 21st century, it's not necessarily reasonable to have that, to have those system of moods of danger going off, but they can be, the temperament of that can be lessened if you recognize the problem and what happened to cause that. And since I've learned this and read about this, when I see old pictures of Scarlett, the mother of my child, who I did love very much and took my child away from me, when I see pictures of her manifest now, since I've recognized the source of that emotional pain, it's gotten a lot easier. Once I understood why I felt that way and why it hurts and what happened and what I can do to fix things. It's helped me with those racing thoughts and those pain.
Yeah, I think there's certain situations in life that, as time progresses and the situations progress, we do adapt, right? We do begin to adapt and learn what is the best way for us to respond.
That's exactly what we're for. You and I have been doing this for such a long time. We know the common symptoms, and let's tell these guys what we have done and what we have learned to stop that shit.
Yeah, and that's why I was gonna start with I was gonna start with an extreme. That way we can kind of walk down, because it's easier to.
Yeah, let's end with something less extreme.
start at the top of the mountain and work our way down. So with
doesn't get more extreme than that.
With everything that just happened, and I think, other than my wife and my therapist, I told a few people that there was a specific day or night, whatever, through the process with my mom, that I bottomed out. That's about as much detail as I gave anyone.
I can imagine.
But there was a night. Now, keep in mind, this particular night, I had went. I was on either day 6 or 7, with maybe 3 hours of sleep total. I couldn't sleep. Racing thoughts that's not even the right description. It was nonstop, all day, every day, and it was like I was so.
Mania isn't even the word, I'm sure.
Yeah, manic and mania went out the window. Like it was. I felt like, now looking back at it, was just a zombie Oz, Yeah. And
you were traumatized, I'm sure.
And there was one particular night. I think my kids and Tia's kids were all with our exes, and she had went to bed, and dealing without going through everything that I'm processing, currently with my therapist and all that, but dealing with the the early childhood abandonment issues and everything with my mom, and then the other things that were unpacked through all this, there, and that sense of worthlessness. Like if she didn't care, like she brought me in this earth, if she didn't care enough, and it just, then the racing thoughts, then the bipolar depression kicks in, like everything just starts to unravel, right? And now I look at it, I'm like, God, you're such a fucking idiot. But like nobody's watching, and I was like, you know what, I'm out, man. I'm done. If I wake up, cool. If I don't wake up, even better. And I took a bunch of damn hydro.
Oh, dude.
And I was like, if I go to sleep and I just sleep for a long time, then cool, I'll wake up rested, because I haven't slept, really in 6-7 days now. And if not, I'm cool with that too.
You don't mean that though.
I know that when I'm in my right mind, I know that's absurd.
And sorry, and I'm just more the audience that may be listening to this. You didn't mean that. That's the circumstance talking.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole situation was such it felt like it took a year. Like it was only a couple weeks, right? But it felt like it was a year. It felt like it took forever. That whole process. But that particular evening, it was like everything hit all the wrong spots in my brain, and it was like, cool, if I wake up, awesome. If not, peace out, homies. And again, in my rational brain, I know that's absurd. Like I know I have so many people that love me and care about me and support me and all that, but when those racing thoughts and those feelings or thoughts of worthlessness, not being loved, not being cared about, so on and so forth, they become, especially in a high stress situation like that, they become crippling, right? They cripple your brain.
Good
and
word.
You can't even begin to think rationally, because it's just, I fucked up over and over again, right? That's all that I heard in my brain is, this is why this happened, and this is why this happened. It's all my fault. And when those thoughts get going, man, it's so it's like trying to knock that shit off the train track and stop the train is so fucking difficult. So
why do we do that, man? Right there. That's such a common response. Blaming yourself for something like that. That's another common thing that we need to stop doing. I had this soldier who committed suicide, and part of the military outreach program is contacting the family and making sure that they're okay, respond, be emotional, be sympathetic. And the mother was blaming herself for what happened, which is not an unusual thing for people to do. But for her to be blaming herself for what happened, or you be blaming yourself for the relationship that you may have missed out on with your mother, it's like, why are you doing that to yourself? You're torturing yourself for no reason. Are you blaming your father or your brother, or is that woman blaming her husband for the death of her child? Of course not. She would never do that. Why do we do it to ourselves? Because it's the same exact question for them. Is anyone blaming you for what you lacked with your mother before she passed away? No, don't fucking do that to yourself, guys. Don't fucking do that to yourself. It's unnecessarily harsh and not true. We need to recognize that,
Well, and that's where, but my next step in that. So, like, and again, for the record, I want to make sure, like, starting with, my wife, and then I have great friends, a great support system that were there the entire damn time that I was going through. My aunt, my cousins, like they were all amazing. When you get in that spot, that's when it's it's code red. Because when well, I'll speak for me. When I get in that spot, there is no talking to anyone. There is no hearing anyone. The racing thoughts and the defeating thoughts are so prevalent and so booming in my brain that you can't tell me shit, because you don't know how I feel right now. You don't know what I'm going through. And I'm not saying that's correct. I'm not saying that that's logical or rational.
Last thing you want to hear.
But that's where I'm at. And if anything, in that moment, if someone does try to talk to me, or, hey, Oz, how are you feeling? How are you doing? I'm good. Leave me alone. Like, I don't even want to speak to you. I want to be alone. I want to be alone with my thoughts, as insane as that sounds when I'm thinking logically. I want to be alone with my thoughts. I want to deal with them. Unfortunately, a lot of the times when it's that deep and that dark, the way I deal with them anyway, speaking for myself, I usually don't deal with them in a healthy manner. It's usually destructive or, potentially harming. Because every other night when I was struggling, where there was a couple times that I talked to you, Dr. Josh and Pasta Mike were fucking badasses through that, and talked to me and helped me a couple times, kind of step off the ledge, so to speak, mentally. But that particular night, I wasn't listening, dude. I wasn't listening to anyone. I was so pissed. I was so hurt. I was so angry that I was done. Right. So the reason I share all that is, what can we do? And this is a real question that I don't have an answer to. For those of us that do have a bipolar diagnosis, when we feel that slide, or we feel ourselves entering that realm, what can we do? What is a best practice? What's a good exercise? What can we do to avoid going into pure mania or pure manic, where we're harming ourselves, or potentially?
That's a lifestyle thing. I don't think there's one answer to it. Like you're saying, like people in your circle weren't being people in your circle, when they're not being, understanding under those circumstances, or to question what you're feeling is justified, they need to go. And this is a general rule. If you have people in your circle that aren't good friends, or aren't true friends, or don't support you, they get them the fuck out of there. Choose your circle, have a healthy circle. I got like 6 friends, Austin, you're one of them, and I didn't want to keep interrupting you. So because you have a good thing going and some great points. Like when you had those racing thoughts and you said you didn't like it when people come up to you and just ask how you're doing. I think that's great for people to do. But what I don't like, and I disencourage people to do, is I know what you're going through. I know how you feel. I lost my this time ago. No, don't compare your circumstances to someone else, because everyone is different, and every circumstance, you can't fractionize that. You can't compare. And what's even worse is, when they compare what their experience is to yours, or even like, a bad friend will compare, your bad circumstance to maybe not even their circumstance, but someone they know circumstances, and as if that's equivalent. What I tell my guys when I give my class each year, when you have someone in we'll share this in a second. When you have someone like you who was going through that during that time, This is the perfect thing you can say. Well, not perfect, but this is what I tell my guys. Wow, that's very difficult. I'm sorry to hear that. People under those circumstances have often had thoughts of harming themselves. Do you have these thoughts? That's a great gateway phrase and question to get straight to the point. They're hurting, let them hurt. That's okay. But are they in jeopardy of harming themselves? That's the most important thing we have to get to, because we can't let that happen.
Right. Yeah.
And if you have this, you can't be so shut off from the rest of the world, but it's difficult to have the skepticism of who's actually on your side. That's why I said the life cycle thing, or life, making your circle tighter with genuine good friends who want the best for you. I'd rather have 6 really great guys than 1,000 Facebook friends that don't mean shit. Recognize who's genuinely wants the best for you.
Absolutely. And
that's what I love about you. When I share good things with you, you're genuinely happy for me.
Oh yeah.
That's a response that you would expect to hear. But a lot of people aren't like that. And I don't get it. Like, oh, you got a fucking raise? Fuck you, dude. Why didn't I get a raise? Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm working really hard in life, and it's paying off. But I'm glad you're resentful of my accomplishments.
Hey, Dylan,
cut them out. It's not a real friend.
They hate us because they ain't us.
I love that.
Real quick, we have a super chat.
Yeah, can you share some of those comments, sir?
Yep, hold on. I'm late to the show. What's causing the depression? Bipolar. And that's why we're talking about this, because it's not something that just pops up. This is just part of it.
It's a very multivariant reason why. And it's not just genetics, and it's not just trauma. It's so many things. And it's not like the one definition of someone's depression is equivalent to everyone else's. Who's the guy with PTSD?
Yep, hold on. This is... He's so modest because he just goes under Jim Majors. So this is the Dr. Jim Majors. I lost my dad in January. It's still hard. I have PTSD and anxiety, and it's easy to work myself up. That's where your friends come in. Lean hard on the ones you trust, and the healing will come. Yeah,
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, Jim. And I say I agree because I'm still going through, just like you, the healing process is still very, very raw. We're 30 days, 35 days, and losing my mom. So, which is, part of what.
You want to keep going, or can I pick up something off that?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is for me, it's very difficult for me to allow myself to be heartbroken or sad or disappointed, because I'm so afraid if I do that, it's going to be hell, and I'm not going to come back, and there's an appropriate time to do that. It's okay to hurt and mourn under those circumstances. So what is the difference between mourning over the death of a loved one or the illness of your child and depression? That's a great question that a lot of people ask, and it's really simple. Would you like to put in your 2 cents on that? When is it appropriate to mourn, and how do you do it properly without being too harsh on yourself and having a relapse in your depression?
Well, unfortunately, when it comes to mourning and grieving, I don't think there's any one antidote, for.
Well, I just want to share, it's not the same thing as depression. It's okay to have that when it's necessary. Yeah, when the circumstances of life are appropriate, you should be okay to hurt.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with crying. Even tough men cry. But it's not okay to feel like that for the rest of your life. And every fucking day sucked. Every day you don't want to get out of bed, and you're a piece of shit fucking loser, and life just sucks and it's difficult and you just want to die. Whoa, why? Especially even when things in life are going right, that's when it's inappropriate. You need to go talk to somebody.
Yeah, and I'd shared with you on the phone the other day that I gave I gave myself a period of time that I'd committed to. Okay, this is where I'm just going to let it all hang out, and I'm all the emotions and the tears and all of that. I'm going to mourn and grieve, and I know it's going to keep going. It doesn't end in just a week or two, you know. But that I was just going to allow myself to, if I want to lay on the couch for a day and just be lost, you know, and grieve and whatever, and watch TV or whatever, and not be active. Like, I'm gonna give my brain and my body the time, the space, the opportunity to do that. And I did that. And then when I had that, you know, when that night I bottomed out, or, you know, whatever, and I took all the pills and was like, you know, fuck it. It was the next day. I was like, no, this isn't grieving anymore. This is getting dangerous. You know, this is potentially harmful. And that's when, you know, the next day I went to my therapist, talked to my doctor. We made changes to my medication, made changes to my therapy schedule. And I've been much, much better, you know, since then. But it is trying to find that balance. Yes, you need to grieve. You have to. If you want to be, you desire to be healthy, you need to grieve, you need to mourn, you need to be sad, you need to be upset, you know, whatever it is in that situation, you need to feel those things and process those things, and not just throw them to the side and pretend that they're not there, right? You have to do that, or it will be worse, you know, a year, 2 years from now. But yeah, it's okay to feel those things. It's okay to experience those things, and that's actually going through it. And not to turn this into a atheist versus Christian conversation, because I don't want to go there at all. But it's actually what breaks my heart about watching everyone other than my Aunt Kathy and her daughters, watching everybody else in this experience, is they're still like, she's gone, man, and there's still this like she's there floating somewhere,
I get that.
you know, and she's in heaven, and she's in a mansion, and she's playing her piano, and no, man.
Does that hurt you as an atheist?
No, it doesn't hurt me. It hurts me for them, that they're holding on to this nonsense. Like, you know, you're not going to see, like, it's done. It's done.
Yeah, I'm a very different type of Christian. I don't even say I am a Christian, but I think people who are kind of like me, who wrestle with their faith, there is a little bit of comfort that maybe they're not completely gone. Though, you know, like I say, I wrestle with my faith. Maybe they are, but maybe it just gives them a little bit more sense of hope that, you know, it's hard to, if something ever happened to my daughter, I don't think I could recover from that. And I'm not Christian enough to assume she's somewhere in heaven waiting for me.
No, and that's what I'm saying. My heart breaks for my, you know, my stepdad, my brother, my sister-in-law, because there's still this hope of eternity, that they're going to be with her again. She's going to look the same and smell the same, and
that doesn't hurt you that she's gone forever.
What's that?
Respectfully, I don't want to cross the line, but that doesn't hurt you, you know, thinking that she's actually gone forever, just as an atheist mindset.
No, with all of the health issues my mom had, if her being gone forever means that she doesn't have to live in this life in continual torment and pain and suffering, I'm 100% okay with that, because that woman hurt and was in pain every single day of her life,
like a physical pain.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And with her mental illnesses. So she had Meniere's disease. If you're not familiar with that, just really, really quick, it's a fluid buildup behind the eardrum, and it causes nausea. What is it?
Motion sickness.
No. God damn it.
Dizzy spills.
It's similar to that. Hold on. Vertigo. So vertigo, like she had to lay down in bed, and it was a constant thumping. It was, imagine like if you go underwater and you can like hear your heartbeat.
Yeah.
It was like that, like 360 out of 365 days a year for her. It was like dum 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 dum. And you couple that with everything else she had going on. Yeah.
I get that, man. I mean, it's hard not to question your faith in God when you see someone you love going through, stricken with an unfair illness. And how does God let that happen? And I kind of have an explanation that if the possibility of God were real, here's the reason why he lets those things happen. But it's just like, if I was God, I would not let that happen. But, I'm not. What the fuck do I know the reason for that? But seeing someone you love on their deathbed.
That's what, and again, not to turn into a debate, but that's actually what makes you more moral than a Bible God. And we have a super chat real quick. I don't want to miss this. So Constellation Pegasus, again, $4.99. Thank you. As it stands now, I'm a determinist like Einstein. Life is too short and precious to piss it away. God's not there at the end, in my opinion. And let the church say amen.
Well, let me tell this motherfucker, he's not Einstein. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, a great response, man. Yeah, life is too short, man, to be giving a fuck about. At the end of the day, man, who fucking gives a shit, man? Just be a good person and be there for your family when someone is dying. Pull yourself together and have your family come together. That's way more important than God. At that moment, you don't need God. You need each other. And maybe you can pull through it and come out of it even better. That's the best you can hope for under those circumstances. And you're such a tough guy. I admire that a lot about you is, man, you can be really tough when you have to, and accepting that and not being afraid to accept that, I find to be very admirable. Your mom passed away. A lot of people who are arrogant, ignorant, or fucking idiotic would say, that guy's a monster. How can he not hope that his mom's there? Well, maybe he's not a monster. Maybe he's just a really tough guy and he's not afraid to face reality. I say all the time, I think you're tougher than me, when it comes to how you tackle life and the hardships in life. It's very admirable, dude.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man. And being again, guys, man, it's okay to hurt when it's necessary. But don't let it drag you with it.
Yeah. And my Aunt Kathy, because I did forget to mention that, my mom was bipolar as well. That is
genetics,
a genetic thing. But what up, Ox? Yeah, it's it's to kind of go to the next not topic, but the next part of this conversation. So there are the extremes, where well, you shared it earlier, Dylan. So I'll just touch on it real quick again. We met in a behavioral health clinic for reasons. For reasons, and I say that laughing. Now, it was not a laughing matter then, but I say it now because I see how far you've come, I see how far I've come and our abilities to cope. And we're not perfect.
Made me such a bad person when I was there. Not when I mean when my head was there without any of the understanding or care to fix it. I was miserable. I wanted to die. At times I thought I could kill myself, or maybe attempted it. It's none of your damn business. And I don't mean you, Austin. I mean anyone listening. And then since I couldn't do that, I was just an asshole to everyone, especially my fellow chain of command in the Army. You couldn't ask, Corporal Gloyd to do shit. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck about you. You don't give a fuck about me. I can't wait to get out. I fucking hate the Army. I fucking hate my life. Fucking hate you. Fuck you.
Black and white.
Hey, Gloyd, can you go do this? Fuck you. Suck my dick. I ain't doing shit. Fuck you.
Black
Gloyd, stand at parade rest when you're talking to me. Fuck you, Sergeant. Gross, toxic. And no wonder they fucking hated me when I first got to that, such a prick. It wasn't any of their fault. I just hated myself. I wanted to die.
Yep.
Because that's what happens if you don't take care of this shit.
Yep.
You let it consume you. It consumes your character. And I had my reasons. They were even, I would argue, justified for me to respond that way to the world. Because I was losing my faith in it, man.
Yeah, it's sorry, real quick. I want to make sure that I pull this up here. Is manic depressive the same as bipolar? That is a
great question.
Yes, it is. Now that's a little older definition of it, but it still applies because bipolar would encompass both manic and mania episodes. You can research the difference there, but yes.
And let's make it clear. I don't want to use the word spectrum because the progressive left uses it a lot, but there's a spectrum of these things. There's not like one type of depression is the same as anyone else's, but they have similar characteristics that can fit under these categories. So manic depressive, that was probably an older term, and they change every few years, but the most recent is, type 2 bipolar or type 1 bipolar, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And symptoms of that would be under mania and depression. And when when your cycles are going up and down, how extreme are they? Let's say your mania is right here, and your depression is down here. And, it takes you this long to come back, and vice versa. Some people can be symmetrical. Some can be up here for quite some time and drop back down. But they have those similar traits that would categorize them as someone who is bipolar.
Yep. And we're about the hour mark here.
Yeah, we can move along. I have some things I wanted to touch with my buddy that I can't get through.
Yeah. So I'll make a statement or two here, and then I'll let you dig in on that. That way because I like to stay at about an hour and a half, so we got about 30 minutes left. The I guess wrapping this part of the conversation up, the thing I want to make sure that we really put a stamp on or an exclamation mark on or what have you is if you have any or all of the diagnosis that we've talked about tonight, and for those that have watched or you listen, I'm very, very open on my diagnosis. I'm an open book. So bipolar, high anxiety, obviously depression fits under the bipolar diagnosis, ADHD, and then just 2 weeks ago was diagnosed with PTSD, and I'm missing one. I'm losing count, but is it easy? Fuck no. It's not. And one of my biggest, like, quote unquote triggers, or if not my biggest trigger, is when people or anyone tries to invalidate mental health or the impacts of a mental health diagnosis. And that's now at 40 years old. Now, back in my 20s, it was a lot easier, but now at 40 years old, that is still one of the things I will literally, like, let's throw hands. Let's throw hands. Like, you're not going to insult me or invalidate who I am and how I am and how I think and how I process. Fuck you. Fuck you. So if, like I said, if you have one of those diagnoses, or you carry all of those like I do, or maybe a different one that we haven't talked about, just know here at TANG and even on our Discord, you have a place to call home, to be safe, to know that you can talk, to know that you have people that even if it's private, you private message or have a private phone call with or a video call with. You have people.
Sergeant Gloy on Instagram, or reach out to National Guard, ask for Sergeant Gloy. I'm a big advocate for behavioral health. I help dozens of people a week.
Yeah, it's those
not
there.
alone.
So don't be afraid of that. And then the last thing I'll say is it's kind of twofold. Talk therapy is huge. You need to be talking to somebody, preferably a professional, but you need to be talking to somebody. And then finally, if you haven't already, go find a professional and seek out the medication that you need to help keep you in an even place. It doesn't mean you're perfect. You're going to have your ups and your downs.
If you don't have health insurance or you can't afford one, there's a place called Hope Alive that will give you free counseling. Hope Alive in Fort Wayne. If this is all local viewers, I'm sure your town, if wherever you're watching, hopefully they have something similar. But there are free counselors who are so concerned about, because people die from depression every day. It's called suicide. That's the side effect of depression. And there are people out there, if you can't afford it, that can help you.
Yep.
Me and Austin have just experienced it, and we've read a lot of the literature we're passionate about, but by no means are we fucking therapists or psychologists or doctors. No. But if you need that, and if you need, this is a good start, but if you need help, it's there. The resources are there.
Yeah. So do that. Find the right medications and take your medications faithfully, and do those things. And as somebody that failed to do that formerly, I could tell you, when you do it, man, you feel so much better, in the long run. So, we're not signing off yet, but I love you, and I appreciate all the support and all the great conversations have been in the chat. But Dylan, I know you want to talk about another thing or two, so I'll let you have the floor here.
So let's just make sure that we're covering the things that are most important, recognizing the signs, how to deal with that, the treatment, the therapy, the medication. And there's what I really wanted to ask and go upon is, when people do recognize those things and they recognize they need help and they even admit that, I don't get why they don't get help. I mean, I do understand why, but I have never seen such relentless hesitation from this man. I'm going to just call him Mr. James, and he knows who I'm talking about. Why won't you get help? I've been dealing with you for over a year now. He's not suicidal. If I was concerned for his own life, I would have the police drag him to behavioral health. Why are people so hesitant about getting help? Especially if you have insurance, especially if I'm reassuring you it's going to help. And maybe it might not be the first, let's call it medicine cocktail, but the adjustments will be made for your brain because everyone's different. Everyone's depression is different. Everyone's brain's different. You'll know in a fucking week, or no, let's say a month. You'll know in a month if it's working or not. And then maybe it's so hard in people who have that mindset that a month is just way too long. And maybe it is. And that's what scares me the most, because the path I took of self-betterment, it was a very long, hard, and difficult path. I would rather do 1,000 ranger schools than fucking deal with another 10 years of depression. Hesitation, pride, ego, yeah, all those things. But they're stupid reasons. And that's the thing that I don't understand, is because if your daughter was sick and if your daughter was hurting, you would do everything in your power to make that go away. And if you don't, then you're a sicko, then get the fuck away from me, I'll smash you. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm right. If your daughter was going through this, you would do anything in your power to make that pain go away. So why are you doing it to your fucking self? Why do we dislike ourselves so much? When I was going through that, I hated who I was. I didn't like who I was. We're so hard on ourselves. And what's weird is sometimes I still feel that way. Sometimes I still don't really like myself. It's gotten a lot better. And maybe that's just be a consequence or a side effect that will be with me for the rest of my life. But I can genuinely say I don't really dislike any people, any one person. Yeah, there's certain people that I dislike the things that they do, but I still love them or whatever. Still have no ill will on them or wish them any harm. I wish them the best of luck. Why the fuck don't we do that to ourselves? Yeah, ego, pride, but it's deeper than that. But what's great,
it's called bipolar. I mean,
that's what's great, is that it's just the bipolar. You can actually still get help. That's what's beautiful about being human. We're animals, sure, but we're the greatest damn animals that ever walked this fucking earth. I don't care if you're a hippie and you think or that we're not special. We are. We're so fucking brilliant and intelligent, capable of conducting quantum mechanics and sending people to the moon. It's fucking awesome. Developing complex music and literature and science and all those things. That's the depression. It feels real. It feels that you are stuck, that you are worthless, and you are something not worth caring for. But no, it's great. You don't have to fucking listen to it. Just do it. But what scares me is that's a very difficult thing to do. And I'm not trying to sound arrogant or cool, like I'm a tough guy. I was able to do that. And it was difficult. So what if other people can't do what I did? And like I said, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but I can understand if it was too much. And for those people who don't have the will to want to get better, for me, it's cheating, because I do have my daughter and I got to get better for her. I can't let her down. So if you feel like garbage in your brain, I always say there's two parts of the brain. There's the emotional brain, and then there's the cognitive brain. The emotional brain is telling you all these terrible things about yourself, and you're stuck, and it's not going to get better. But what's great about being human is you don't have to listen to those. You can listen to the cognitive side of your brain. That even though you feel stuck and you feel worthless, you don't have to fucking be stuck and be worthless. You can be of some use, and not just to the people around you. You can be some use to yourself. That's what's so great about being human. You can just do it, but you got to really want to do it. And that's what pisses me off about my friend. James, you can get better, dude. Why aren't you fucking doing it? Breaks my heart, man. You don't have to keep going through, and it's been a year, and he lives out of town, or I would have drug him to the hospital myself. And, at the end of the day, I have my own responsibilities, and I can't save everyone. But man, why are you doing it to yourself? Is that too complex or too harsh of an answer or solution? Just fucking go do it. I don't get it. Maybe I make it look easy or something stupid or arrogant like that, but it is that easy. Maybe.
No, it's become easier.
You're right. It does, and that's a great point. It gets easier to
Yeah.
take care of yourself and love yourself. It's like a good habit. It becomes infectious.
Yeah, because when you and I met, real talk, it wasn't easy for either of us. It's become easier because we've made great friends, like
Yeah,
ourselves, and other people. But yeah, it's not easy when you're lost in it. When you're lost in the sauce, it's not easy.
or
So
maybe
whether it's pride, ego, shame, guilt, whatever it is, those things make it feel like it's not reality, but it makes it feel like it's impossible. It feels that way, even though in reality, if we apply logic and good reason, it is very possible. But caught up in the moment and the feelings and depression or bipolar or whatever,
and that's what I
it
get,
feels fucking impossible.
because it can take you to such a dark place. If you don't have it, you can't even imagine. So I get it. You do feel stuck. Because if you want to die and you want to kill yourself, then why the fuck would you save yourself? It's like a craving of something, like I want chocolate cake right now. That sounds so good. I want to kill myself. That sounds so good. I don't want to go on a diet, eat something healthy. That was a great metaphor. But sometimes you got to shut the fuck up, put the fork down from the cake and eat your goddamn vegetables because it's good for you. The same thing with your behavior health. You might want to kill yourself or might want to harm yourself. You might want to wallow in your own pathetic waste because you're nothing and you're worthless and you're always going to be worthless. But maybe you could stop doing that and go to the fucking doctor. And just because 6 weeks from now you no longer feel that way doesn't mean you're cured. Because you and I, even though we have treatment and we take these, this medication, doesn't mean that the relapses don't come. It's not depression and bipolar and trauma. It's not something you beat once and then it's gone forever. Something you live with and figure out how to overcome. And it's like when you're a diabetic, you live with insulin. When you're a lot of people, bipolar, manic depression, it's something you live with. You can get treatment, you can do things and have a remedy that can help you prevent some of the relapses, but they're going to come. And when they do, that's okay. Don't be so fucking hard on yourself. But when they go away, hey, they're going to come back. They're not gone forever. And when they come back, it's going to eat at you because this is the 10th time this year it's came back. And I don't know if I can do this another fucking 6 weeks. That's inevitable.
Yeah. And
it scares me. Not for me. I'm talking about those who go through that.
Yeah. And for, I'll say this and then we'll start to wrap it up here. We got a few minutes, but,
the last 15 minutes, you want to see if the group chat has, because there's been a lot of interaction. I would love to hear some of these things that they've been sharing.
Yeah, well, some of it on my end, it goes away to be able to share it. It goes away after a certain amount of time. So we'll do the last 10 minutes if you guys want to do a Q&A or whatever. We can do that. We can do that. But the last thing I want to say is if well, hold on, because I had this up and I wanted to read it. Doomver, thank you. Heavy stuff. My son doesn't know it, but he has kept me alive because I can't leave him here alone in this shithole.
Good. You got to find a light. You got to find something worth defeating the depression.
Let the fucking goddamn church say goddamn amen to that shit.
Yeah, man.
Good. There's times that I've clung to my kid. They're the sole reason, that I held on. So I get it. And the last point I want to say, and then we'll do a little Q&A with y'all if you want to do that, is if you have been diagnosed with bipolar, depression, anxiety, any of the, your common diagnosis that you hear. Just know something. First of all, brutal reality. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. It doesn't stop. It's a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly fight, like Dylan talked about up, at the top of the show. It doesn't go away. But what can be another constant is how you find a way to better yourself, better your situation.
I think it's just as important as the therapy and the medication is finding a reason to keep moving.
Yes, and
you have to find your light, man. Your calling,
and all of the things that we talked about. One of the I think one of the most impactful bits of encouragement or advice that I would give, and let me make this 100% perfectly clear. If you have those diagnoses, or any of them or all of them, if you have people in your life that are toxic, negative, they have that sense of always trying to attack and trying to degrade or belittle, let me say this loud and clear. Fuck them. Tell them to go fuck themselves, and you don't need them in your life. I don't care if it's mom, dad, brother, aunt, uncle, sister, brother. Fuck them.
It's a bad person.
If they're not concerned enough with your mental health and your happiness and your fulfillment in life,
Austin, you don't need that stuff. You don't need that junk.
Yeah,
you off. That depression's not real. Jesus Christ, are you crying again? Get out of bed, you pathetic fucking loser.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Fuck those people. If you have those people in your life, I don't even care if they're atheists. Even if they're atheists and they talk shit, like similar to that, fuck them and tell them to stay the fuck out of your life, because you don't need them.
I got some good feedback for you guys. If someone ever tells you that treatment and medication isn't natural, especially like the Christian community, well, not especially, but sometimes they think that, you don't need that stuff. You just need God. Yeah, maybe. But also, no. There's nothing wrong with taking medication. No, it's not natural. Antibiotics, when you have a staph infection, or brushing your teeth, our teeth are naturally supposed to fall out, but your dentist still recommends brush your teeth at least twice a day and floss. What's not natural, I'll tell you what's not natural. You're not supposed to feel that way all the time. Your system of moods should not be, the default setting shouldn't be hopelessness. That's not natural. And you don't have to keep fucking doing it.
Yes. All right, guys, we hit that right on the nail. We have about 10 minutes. If anybody has any questions, and we won't go too far over that, because I'm learning the YouTube algorithms more and more.
Yeah. And it has to be that time frame each time for your algorithm. That makes sense.
And now I'm turning on my radio voice. Who has questions?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and that means that I should probably turn on the music, because
turn that up, baby. Turn it up a little bit for me.
We're doing the questions.
Yeah, this is Austin M and Delando G in the studio live, just for you.
This is OZ in the morning at 36.4 a.m.
After hours, baby. Yeah. We really could. We could start a late night little radio show. I'm actually more of a gay porn guy myself, actually. That's another thing that helps you get through these things. Be funny, be humorous, learn to laugh, learn to make jokes.
Oh, I knew as soon as you walked in my house with that Cincinnati Reds hat on. Yeah.
You know, I only bought this because a friend I know plays for them. All right. So he's like way cooler than you. So your opinion means very little to me. Okay. He's a professional baseball player who got traded, I guess. So I don't even need this hat anymore. No, pull it back out.
Oh, okay. Wait, God, that song is so stupid. Oh, wait.
I love the tough guy camaraderie, man. Appreciate friends. I appreciate your friendship so much, and the camaraderie of the way we talk to each other. People probably don't get it. Why is he calling his friend a faggot? Why is he flipping them off? It's like, because that's what tough guy camaraderie is. That's part of a thing. You wouldn't get it, but find your own circle, find your own group of friends, man, and enjoy it. Enjoy the real ones.
And here's a real comment. Oz's voice sounds like buttered honey. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we did have a real comment. Hold on. Or a question. Oz, thoughts on psychosis and supernatural ideologies. Oh man.
And supernatural ideology. I mean, like, what do you mean by supernatural ideologies? Technically, the monotheist religions are, like Christianity, Judaism, Muslim, or Islam, ghost, the devil. Because
I think, and I don't know how Dylan feels about this, but I actually, oh God, I hate to say this live, but
if you believe in ghosts, I'm walking out.
I kind of think that psychosis and supernatural ideologies all kind of fall under the same category. That I think you have to be a little bit psycho to believe that there's a supernatural.
Check this out. I work in a lab with scientists. I'm a chemist, and majority of them believe in ghosts. That's fucking weird. Even the scientist who's like the head scientist who has a degree in physics and chemistry believes in ghosts. I think that's so silly. I think that's so ridiculous. I could sleep in a haunted house or a haunted basement, no problem. That's so silly to me. There's never been evidence of a ghost. Oh, but Dylan, there's never been evidence of a god. Shut up. Not the same. I don't believe in hell either, by the way.
No, it is the same, Dylan, but we won't do that tonight.
No, we're not going to do that tonight. Because, dude, I've done so much more research on this stuff than you have. Like, that's a joke. It's called sarcasm. Okay, I know you have done your homework and you pick me apart, but it challenges me. I get better each time.
Him so funny. Him so funny. All right. So there's a where'd he go? Oz's voice is medicine for my non-existent soul.
Oh my gosh, I'm so triggered right now. You guys, your atheism is inappropriate and most unkind.
And goodbye, Dylan.
No, I'm kidding, obviously. No, I would love to have another conversation with you about God. Each time we have it, it helps me articulate my thoughts and ideas more.
Oh, what you really meant is I crush your God belief.
Oh, no, well, I don't feel crushed by you. I think we have a lot of things in common, a lot of similar ideas, a lot of things we disagree on.
I don't crush you. I said I crush your God belief.
I disagree.
I put it in a chokehold.
We'll engage.
Then I lay out the buttery voice.
I love the idea of God, man.
The idea. Yeah, we need to do another one. The idea. That's the problem. It's an idea.
Well, you make very good points. Like I said, you're a really smart guy. It's not that you don't make fair points. The things you say are reasonable. Sometimes I feel like you're a bit of, you fall into a little bit of an ideologue thinking of like the atheist like group set. But you make very fair points that stump me, and not. I mean, I don't have the answers, obviously, but there's a lot of things in science that we don't know that we can still have theories for. And I know God isn't science, but there's a lot of good things about God and the spirituality and the fulfillment and aiming for the highest good. And Jesus Christ, let me cringe your audience.
He's a myth. He's a myth.
Let me cringe your audience. If you could aim for the highest being, you would want to be like Jesus. That's so true and obvious.
He's a myth.
Maybe. But doesn't mean you can't aim to be like that person. I mean, so is
Oh, well then Dylan, I'm gonna go be like fucking Superman.
That's what I was gonna say. I was just gonna say like Superman. I swear to God. I swear in your non-existent God, I was gonna say or aim to be like Superman. Sure, maybe he's not real, but he can still motivate you to be stronger. Maybe there's a lot of evidence that says Jesus was real, wasn't real. Either way, the spirit of Jesus Christ is a good thing to aim for.
No, Jesus was a dick, dude.
I think I think that if you could aim for the highest good and be the best version of yourself, that's what you would aim for. Fuck Jesus. All right, not even Jesus. Just aiming to be a better person.
Yeah, we don't need Jesus. We don't need God. We don't need Christianity. We don't need the Bible. We don't need the Quran. We don't need Muhammad. We don't need Allah. We don't need any of that shit. Just be the best fucking human being you know how to fucking be.
This man is ruthless and I love it.
Jesus Christ. Yes, I used it in vain.
I'm so offended. That's why we get along so well.
And Jesus is a biscuit. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, and good point. B.S. Lewis, Superman doesn't torture people.
Oh, that's good.
Anyhow, so we're at the 127 mark. We'll do another one of these here in the next couple of weeks, Dylan, and I will destroy you on your God claim. But before we jump off, I'm kidding.
Challenge accepted, my friend.
I'm kidding. But sorry, but if Jesus was real, he was an idiot. Do you need some examples?
Make sure you bring that. Yeah, I would love some examples. I really appreciate how like your audience doesn't personally attack the guests. I do appreciate that because there's nothing more uncomfortable than being ganged up on by being on a podcast and their viewers. But every time I'm on here, they're really reasonable to me. And only God knows why. Excuse me. Only who knows why. But I do a very good job handling these jokes and these guys destroying Jesus. I think it's funny, but I'm a dark person. Obviously, we just talked about it for an hour and a half. So I say bring it on. I think it's great.
Hey, the Tang gang is the best gang in the world.
Hey, it's a kick in the glass, baby. Wait, it's a kick in the glass, baby. Tang glass.
Yeah, baby.
1 minute. Well, let me just say thanks for having me on your show, dude. Let me get real for a minute, man. You're one of my best friends. It's authentic chemistry we have, and I do anything for you, and I know you do anything for me. And you're a really good guy, and I thank God I met you. No, I said I was going to get serious. That was a joke. But yeah, man. If there's anything I can do for you, I'm there. It's just the kind of brotherhood, camaraderie we have. I know it's mutual.
Yes, it is. Yes, it's. And B.S. Lewis, God damn it, you're right. I told you I was going to talk about it, and I didn't. So here is my word, B.S. Lewis, is I will do a separate stream.
Right after this?
No, not right after this. Because Dylan loves him some Jesus. He loves him some Jesus. So I'll do
Jesus.
I'll do a separate stream this week and talk about bipolar and Christianity, and me leaving Christianity, and what.
And it was a favor for me too. I asked him if he could do this for me. So sorry if I took away the theme of your channel.
No. I didn't have anything planned tonight. This was awesome. So
thank you. Well, it meant a lot to me, and I know it always helps somebody. It always helps somebody that watches this shit.
No, but BS Lewis, we will talk about that. My bad.
Yeah, you guys can destroy me next week if you want.
Oh, you're gonna get fucked up, Mr.
Yeah. Well, how big are you?
I'm
You're gonna destroy. Okay. Sorry.
I'm in the next room.
That's against the Bible, sir.
The Bible. You know what I did to a Bible last night?
No, that could be anything, because if you did that, God's going to put a hex on you. Proverbs. Oh my God! Hey, I'm really triggered now. Like that offended me, and
Go pray.
Insensitive, uncultured.
Tang is astronaut juice.
I'm so old.
Glad we had you on. Dylan, they're saying glad you had you on. Appreciate what you had to say tonight.
Thank you, guys. I hope this was meaningful and it helped people, and meant a lot to me to share this with people going through it. And I think it's very necessary, and I appreciate the respect and the kindness and the support and all those things. I genuinely appreciate that. You matter. I love you. Atheist, Christian, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I just want you to be okay, and I care about you, and it's genuine. Thanks, Austin.
Cool. Thank you, Dylan, for joining us. And just so you guys know, I'll take Dylan off here because I think he has to pee. But just so you know, Dylan's actually an atheist. He just doesn't know it yet. He doesn't know it. He's kind of like Eddie. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that he's already an atheist. So just be kind. Be patient. He has to walk away from the God stuff. He has to slowly walk away. Slowly. Very, very, very slowly. So now I'm done whispering. So thank you guys for being respectful, being fucking awesome tonight. And obviously this is a topic, mental health and bipolar, and all that, that's very, very important to me, as I know it is a lot of you. And we try to put these episodes together every once in a while, but I want to make sure, BS Lewis, that we do get another stream. I'll do a solo stream on that, as far as bipolar and depression and anxiety and the ins and outs of Christianity versus atheism and all that. I think that's important. But what up, Pat? Blaka. Yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. This is an awesome stream, and sometimes can get deep and emotional and end with fun. But we appreciate you all. So today's Friday. If you go check the lineup, we might be on Saturday, Sunday, I'm not sure yet, but Monday we got some announcements coming, and then the call-in show. So you don't want to miss that shit. But until then, I love you guys. The Tang Gang. There ain't another gang in the world like the Tang Gang. Peace.
Yeah. It's the Tang Gang. Yeah, it's the Tang Gang. Tang Gang. It's the Tang Gang. Tang Gang. Yeah, it's the Tang Gang. Tang Gang. Yeah, it's the Tang Gang. Tang Gang. Yeah, it's the Tang Gang. Yeah, it's the Tang Gang. Tang Gang. Tang Gang. Tang Gang. Yeah, it's the Tang Gang. Yeah, I got an idea. Let's take these beliefs and bad ideas and let's stack them up. Stack them up and see if these people can back them up. And if not, this is what you can do, is just pack them up and go on your way. Cause you should have known, everybody at TANG, we don't play now. Yeah, we need that evidence. We need that evidence to make shit relevant. What you saying? What you saying, man? Can you prove it? What you doing? Let's do it. Y'all already know. Y'all already know. Tang gang. 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 Y'all already know. Y'all already know. Tang gang.